When I was reborn back on the day my sister and I chose our husbands, I discovered I could suddenly hear other people's thoughts. On the surface, my sister Amelia looked shy and composed. However, the ecstatic voice in her head crashed straight into my ears. This time, I'll be the first to give birth to an heir. Then, without hesitation, she rushed to seduce the husband from my previous life, the man obsessed with sex who gave me triplets. Meanwhile, the cold, untouchable man who never even glanced at her in our last life was left to me. She thought she had won. After all, choosing the man with the stronger desire should make getting pregnant easier, right? I watched her excited figure disappear into the distance and slowly smiled. Amelia, this time, you can fall into hell all by yourself. In the center of the hall, attendants carried over 2 bouquets of roses in different colors. The black roses represented Marcus Zillman, the eldest son of the Zillman family and first in line to inherit the family. He leaned back in his chair with a blank expression, like a perfect but cold sculpture. The white roses represented Noah Zillman, the younger son of the Zillman family. He was the illegitimate child. A faint smile rested on his lips, making him look gentle and refined. Before I could even sort out my thoughts, a voice suddenly rang in my ears. This time, I'll be the first to give birth to an heir. It was my sister Amelia Foster's voice. Instinctively, I looked toward her, only to realize her lips were tightly pressed together. She hadn't spoken at all. Her eyes were locked onto the bouquet of white roses like a hunter staring at prey. Just wait. I'll steal him away soon enough. Her voice sounded again. In an instant I understood. I had been reborn. And somehow I could hear other people's thoughts. From the meaning behind Amelia's words just now, she had clearly been reborn too. Otherwise, she never would have said something like, "Be the first to give birth to an heir." Sure enough, the next second, she stood up and picked up the bouquet of white roses. Right in front of everyone, she shyly pressed a kiss to the roses. Then she walked straight over to Noah and handed them to him. "Mr. Noah, please take care of me from now on." The headmistress of the bridal academy immediately spoke when she saw this. "Jane, since Amelia chose Noah, you'll marry Marcus." As soon as those words fell, unconcealed triumph flashed through Amelia's eyes. She was laughing in her heart. "Jane, this lifetime, you'll be the one living like a widow." In our previous life, Amelia had rushed to choose Marcus first in order to become the lady of the Zillman family. Marcus had a shark-like instinct for profit. In just a few short years, he expanded the Zillman family business across all of Europa. However, everyone knew he stayed year-round in the top-floor suite of the company building and refused to let anyone get close to him. Amelia had tried every possible method, from wearing a revealing nightgown and knocking on his door late at night to using document delivery as an excuse to enter his study. She even sneaked into his hotel room while he was away on a business trip. Every single time, though, she was mercilessly thrown out and humiliated like a joke. Later, she never became pregnant. At a family banquet, Donna Zillman of the Zillman family publicly declared that Amelia had something wrong with her body before directly kicking her out of the family. Meanwhile, I married Noah. Everyone thought I was unlucky. An illegitimate son had no real power and wouldn't inherit much of the family fortune. But after we got married, Noah became almost obsessed with me. Every day he stayed by my side, shopping and eating with me and taking me on dates. Every late night, the sounds coming from our room made the servants blush whenever they passed by. Later, Marcus suddenly died. The autopsy report showed heavy metal poisoning as the cause of death, but nobody knew who did it. Noah inherited the entire Zillman family, and I went from being the wife of a family outcast to becoming the Donna of the Zillman family. Amelia became jealous to the point of madness. She invited me out shopping, only to drag me off the rooftop of a mall so we would die together. The moment the feeling of weightlessness swallowed me whole, I only heard her screaming, "Why do you get to live better than me?" When I came to my senses, I smiled lightly and answered, "Sure. I happen to like Marcus too." I picked up the bouquet of black roses and walked toward Marcus, step by step. The closer I got, the stronger the pressure around him became. It felt like an invisible wall of ice surrounded him. No wonder Amelia barely dared to breathe in front of him in our previous life. I tried to listen to his thoughts, but his mind was completely silent. There was nothing. Instead, Noah casually rubbed the rose petals between his fingers while turning to look at Amelia. Immediately, I heard his voice. His personality was cold, but his fingers were warm. Looking at the expressionless man in front of me, I felt safe for the first time. Compared to Noah, who was a poisonous snake hiding beneath human skin, Marcus's danger was straightforward. In this life, I wouldn't hand my fate over to anyone else again. I wanted to survive and get my own money, status, and right to choose. My wedding and Amelia's wedding were held together, and the scale was grand. Early on the morning of the ceremony, 2 wedding dresses were delivered to the estate at the same time. In our previous life, Marcus never even showed up at the wedding. Meanwhile, Noah had arrived early in the morning, busying himself with everything like the perfect husband. Everyone said Noah was the one who truly knew how to care for a woman, and this life was the same. Noah personally drove over to deliver Amelia's wedding dress, while a driver delivered mine. Carrying the dress box upstairs, Noah smiled sweetly. I don't trust anyone else touching Amelia's wedding dress. Amelia immediately threw herself at him and kissed him before looking at me provocatively. Jane, why didn't Marcus personally deliver your wedding dress? I smiled lightly. It's fine. The wedding dress Marcus gave me was the finale piece at the Paris auction. There's only one in the world. I like it very much. Amelia's expression instantly darkened. Inside her heart, she sneered. What are you showing off for? Let's see if you can still smile once your dress splits open later in front of everyone. My heart stirred slightly, but my expression remained calm. Sure enough, she had someone tamper with my wedding dress. After she and Noah left, I picked up the dress, and as expected, Marcus never appeared, just like Amelia in my previous life. I stood there alone, enduring the strange looks and whispers coming from every direction. When Amelia walked over hand in hand with Noah, her lips were flushed red and her legs trembled slightly. It wasn't hard to guess what they had just been doing. The moment she saw me standing alone, her smile became even more smug. She deliberately leaned against Noah and whined in a sugary voice, Honey, my waist is so sore. Noah immediately wrapped an arm around her as he gave a low laugh and started massaging her waist. I knew she was doing it on purpose for me to see. She wanted me to get jealous and lose control in front of everyone. I wasn't stupid, though. In our previous life, she had stormed off on the spot and made herself the laughingstock of the entire event. Donna Zillman's expression darkened immediately. The others also said Amelia lacked composure and wasn't fit for the position of eldest daughter-in-law of the Zillman family. After the wedding, Donna Zillman made things difficult for her at every turn and found fault with everything she did. I wouldn't repeat her mistakes. I picked up my wine glass and smiled graciously at the guests filling the hall. Marcus has an important business deal to handle today, so he truly couldn't make it back in time. Later, during the family speech, I'll speak on his behalf. I hope everyone won't mind. As soon as I finished speaking, the whispers below quieted down. Donna Zillman, seated at the main table, glanced at me with a little more satisfaction in her eyes. For a family as powerful as the Zillman family, appearances mattered more than anything. At a time like this, the daughter-in-law absolutely couldn't panic. She had to carry herself like the lady of the house. Amelia noticed that glance from Donna Zillman too. A trace of irritation flashed through her eyes. Bitch, what are you so proud of? When Donna Zillman gives out the gifts later, I'll make sure you humiliate yourself in front of everyone. Being able to hear other people's thoughts really was a good thing. At the very least, whenever someone wanted to hurt me, I'd know in advance. Soon enough, it was time for the gift ceremony. The attendants brought out 2 boxes containing the Zillman family's inherited black rose necklace and white rose necklace. According to tradition, Donna Zillman would personally put them on us. I straightened my back and walked toward Donna Zillman while hearing Amelia count down in her mind. 3, 2, 1, now's the time. The instant Amelia suddenly stretched out her foot to step on my wedding dress, I lightly lifted my skirt and bent down to bow to Donna Zillman. And Amelia ended up stepping hard on her own dress instead. Rip! The sound of fabric tearing echoed throughout the entire banquet hall. Her wedding dress split open at the waist, exposing her underwear and the obscene finger marks near the tops of her thighs. The crowd instantly erupted. Noah hurried over to shield her while awkwardly trying to smooth things over.
Sorry.
We got a little carried away this morning. However, in his thoughts, he was saying, "What an idiot. You've completely embarrassed me." Donna Zillman flew into a rage and hurled the white rose necklace at them. Useless. Can't you even stand properly? Are you really so shameless that you had to create this kind of scandal on your wedding day? Donna Zillman, I'm sorry. I didn't do it on purpose. Amelia hurriedly clutched her torn dress and apologized, her voice trembling, though her eyes were filled with resentment. In the end, Donna Zillman personally put the necklace only on me. The moment the sparkling diamonds rested against my collarbone, I knew. This round belonged to me. Because Amelia had completely embarrassed herself, the wedding ended in a hurry. From beginning to end, Donna Zillman never gave her a pleasant look. However, whenever her gaze turned toward me, her eyes were filled with approval. She even took my hand and patted it gently. "Jane, tonight I'll make sure Marcus comes back to accompany you. You mustn't be wronged." After leaving the banquet hall, Amelia and I ran into each other in the back garden. She deliberately tilted her neck, making sure I could see the marks on her skin. "Jane, Noah is really amazing. Even if I didn't get the necklace today, I'll still get pregnant with a Zillman family heir very soon." In her mind, she said, "Damn it, that hurts so much. Why didn't this bitch tell me Noah hits people while doing that?" Amelia had made pregnancy sound far too simple. Noah was a playboy. He drank and smoked constantly, and he had plenty of bad habits. Long ago, he had already ruined his health. In our previous life, Amelia saw how easily I became pregnant and naturally assumed she could do the same. What she didn't know was how much medicine I had taken in order to get pregnant through IVF. These past 2 days, she had been bragging about having a body that conceived easily and kept dragging Noah into bed over and over again. Even Noah believed her. I really wondered what he would do once he realized Amelia wouldn't get pregnant anytime soon. My calm expression only looked like provocation in Amelia's eyes. She rolled her eyes and turned to leave. "Whatever. You wouldn't understand anyway. Either way, you're the one stuck married to that impotent beaster Marcus." "Jane, I'm definitely going to win this time." That same night, Marcus really did come back. As he pushed open the door, one hand reached up to loosen his tie. There was obvious exhaustion between his brows. I quickly stood up and went over to take his coat. "You're back. You've worked hard." In our previous life, I had heard from the servants that Marcus never returned on his wedding night. Amelia had guarded an empty bed all night and became a joke to everyone. The next day, she ran to complain to Donna Zillman, only to get scolded instead. Donna Zillman said she was incompetent and incapable of keeping a man's heart. Marcus looked at me and spoke in a calm voice. "Miss Jane, I know you had no choice but to choose me. If you don't want to get pregnant, I won't force you." I froze instantly. Why was Marcus acting differently from our previous life? Subconsciously, I turned around, only to accidentally crash into his chest. The scent of cedarwood mixed with leather surrounded me, cold and clean. I quickly looked up at him and spoke seriously, word by word. "Marcus, I chose you willingly. I'll take responsibility as your wife. We're family now, and I hope we can get along well." A slight ripple passed through his eyes. "All right, I'll be a good husband too, but there's a secret I need to tell you." He lowered his head and whispered something into my ear, causing my eyes to widen slowly in shock. Marcus's whisper was soft. "I can hear thoughts." The room went dead silent. For a moment, neither of us moved. My heart nearly stopped. I stared at him. "Since when?" "Since the day of the accident 10 years ago." His gaze remained steady. "I heard yours the moment you walked toward me with those black roses." A chill ran down my spine. So that was why his thoughts had always been silent. He wasn't hiding them. He was listening. Marcus slowly sat down and loosened his cuffs. You know Noah poisoned me in our previous life. My fingers tightened. You remember? I remember everything. The air seemed to freeze. Marcus continued calmly. Noah and Amelia didn't just kill us. They killed my mother as well. His voice remained flat, but I could hear the fury buried underneath. They spent years stealing company funds. After I died, Noah inherited everything. I finally understood. The reason Marcus died from heavy metal poisoning in my previous life wasn't a mystery at all. It was murder. Noah had planned it from the beginning. Marcus looked at me. You chose me despite knowing all this. Then, for the first time, a faint smile appeared on his face. So, tell me, Jane, are you willing to help me destroy them? I laughed. That was exactly what I was planning. For the first time since my rebirth, Marcus genuinely smiled. The next morning, Amelia arrived at the family estate wearing a smug expression. The moment she saw me walking beside Marcus, her face froze. In her mind, panic exploded. Why is Marcus here? Why are they together? Didn't he ignore her for years? Marcus casually wrapped an arm around my waist. Amelia's expression twisted. Beside her, Noah's eyes narrowed dangerously. Then I heard his thoughts. Interesting. Very interesting. Looks like Marcus remembers too. My smile disappeared. He remembered. Noah had been reborn as well. At breakfast, Donna Zillman suddenly announced a new rule. The first daughter-in-law to produce an heir will receive 10% of the family's shares. The room exploded. 10%. That was worth billions. Amelia nearly jumped from excitement. In her thoughts, she screamed, Mine. They're all mine. Meanwhile, Noah smiled gently and squeezed her hand. But inside his head was a completely different thought. Idiot. You still think this is about having a child. That afternoon, Marcus handed me a thick file. Inside were private hospital records, bank transfers, DNA reports, photos. Every piece of evidence pointed toward one conclusion. Noah was infertile. Completely infertile. The so-called triplets from my previous life had never been conceived naturally. Noah had secretly used donor material during IVF, while allowing everyone to believe the children were biologically his. I looked up in shock. Marcus nodded. That's why Amelia will never get pregnant. A laugh escaped me. All this time, Amelia had believed she stole the better husband. In reality, she had chosen the one thing she wanted most, and could never have. Months passed. Amelia became increasingly desperate. Every week she visited a different fertility clinic. Every month another test came back negative. Her temper grew worse. The servants whispered behind her back. Donna Zillman's patience disappeared. Meanwhile, Marcus publicly transferred several companies into my name. The old woman grew fonder of me by the day. Then the final blow arrived. One afternoon, Amelia burst into the mansion holding a pregnancy report. I'm pregnant. She was practically crying with joy. Donna Zillman immediately ordered a celebration banquet. The entire family gathered. Amelia sat proudly beside Noah like a queen, until Marcus calmly stood up. Before we celebrate, perhaps we should verify the child. The banquet hall fell silent. Noah's face changed. Amelia laughed coldly. Marcus, are you saying I'm cheating? No. Marcus placed a DNA report on the table. I'm saying Noah can't father children. The report slid across the polished wood. 1 second. 2 seconds. 3. The color drained from Amelia's face. Noah stood up, so quickly his chair crashed backward. Donna Zillman snatched the report. As she read it, her hands began shaking. The next moment, slap. Her palm struck Noah's face. The entire room froze. Amelia collapsed into her chair. Noah's secret had finally been exposed, and the empire they had spent 2 lifetimes scheming to steal was beginning to crumble. Noah's head snapped to the side from the force of Donna Zillman's slap. The banquet hall was silent. Then chaos erupted. You lied to this family for years? Donna's voice shook with fury. Noah tried to speak. Mother, listen. Don't call me mother. She slammed the DNA report onto the table. Amelia grabbed it with trembling hands. The words blurred before her eyes. Permanent infertility. Probability of natural conception. 0%. No. Her lips turned white. No. That's impossible. Then a terrifying thought hit her. Slowly, she looked down at the pregnancy report in her hands. If Noah couldn't father children, then whose baby was she carrying? The entire room reached the same conclusion. The guests began whispering. The servants exchanged looks. Amelia felt as if countless knives were stabbing into her skin.
No.
I never cheated, but nobody believed her. Not even Noah, because he knew the truth. Over the last few months, Amelia had become obsessed with getting pregnant. She had swallowed fertility drugs from questionable sources, visited underground clinics, accepted special treatments from fake specialists. Even she no longer knew exactly what had happened. Noah stared at her with disgust. For the first time, he saw her for what she truly was. A greedy fool. Someone who had ruined every plan he ever made. You useless woman. The words came out cold. Amelia froze. She had never heard him speak to her that way before. Then Noah stood and walked away, leaving her alone in front of everyone. The next day, the story exploded across high society. The Zillman family's younger daughter-in-law was pregnant despite her husband being infertile. Every newspaper covered it. Every social gathering discussed it. Amelia became the laughingstock of Europa. The stress finally became too much. A week later, she suffered a miscarriage. When she woke in the hospital, nobody was beside her bed. Not Noah. Not Donna. Nobody. Tears streamed down her face. For the first time, she understood. She had lost. Completely. Meanwhile, Marcus moved swiftly. With the evidence gathered over 2 lifetimes, he exposed Noah's embezzlement schemes, shell companies, and illegal accounts. The board immediately removed Noah from all positions. The authorities launched investigations. His assets were frozen. His allies abandoned him. One by one, the people who once praised him turned their backs. A year later, Noah stood in court wearing prison clothes. Gone was the elegant smile. Gone was the refined appearance. As guards led him away, his eyes found Marcus and me in the audience. Hatred filled them. But there was also fear. Because this time nobody was coming to save him. The sentence was long enough that he would spend most of his remaining life behind bars. As for Amelia, after the divorce, she tried everything. She begged.
She cried.
She even came to the mansion gates in the rain. Jane, she dropped to her knees. Please help me. I looked down at her from the entrance steps. In my previous life, I remembered the rooftop, the wind, the terror, her hands shoving me over the edge. Why do you get to live better than me? I smiled gently. Because I never spent my life trying to steal someone else's. The gates closed. And that was the last time I ever saw Amelia. Years passed. Marcus officially inherited the Zillman empire. Under his leadership, the family became stronger than ever. Unlike in my previous life, he wasn't fighting alone anymore. I stood beside him through every victory. And somewhere along the way, our marriage stopped being an agreement, stopped being a partnership. It became love. Real love. The kind that grew quietly over years. The kind that survived everything. One spring morning, I sat in the garden reading financial reports when Marcus suddenly took the papers away. You're working again. I looked up. He was smiling. A little girl sat on his shoulders while a baby boy slept in his arms. Our daughter laughed. Daddy said you're not allowed to work today. Oh. Marcus leaned down and kissed my forehead. It's our anniversary. I laughed. And what if I refuse? His eyes softened. Then I'll spend the entire day reminding you how much I love you. The children immediately started cheering. I looked at my family, at the husband who chose me, at the life I had built with my own hands. In my previous life, I died believing everything had been stolen from me. But fate had given me one more chance. And this time, I hadn't wasted it. Far away, forgotten by the world, Amelia spent her days regretting every choice she had made. Noah spent his behind bars. But I never thought about either of them anymore. Because the greatest revenge wasn't watching them suffer. It was living a life they could never take from me. And this time, it was mine forever.